I'm probably the worst one to ask about what music does in a film because I don't really know. I think whatever it is, I don't think the music can wreck a good movie, and I don't think music can make a bad movie. All we really have the power to do with our music is make things work a little better and to connect things that might feel more disconnected, to add a kind of a glue. And that's really goes back to the classic film scoring from day one of taking themes, and themes become glue. They take us through a story.
What does music add to a story? Music is the story. If you take the music away from a movie, you want it to be able to be. You want to hear a story being told, ideally on its own. And so, you know, a lot of film scores today are wallpaper, and they sort of they serve the film, they serve the moment, but there's really nothing more going on except for just making the film move. And then there's scores that are doing more, and they're attacking the film from a psychological point of view, and they're really attempting to tell a story and hold the audience's hands without leading them, of course. I mean, and you know, that's the art of film music, is, you know, not overdoing it and doing it with taste, you know. And that to me is the mark of a good film score, where the composer is trying his best to not show off music, but to help the movie tell a story.
Well, my single huge influence, and the only reason that I am a composer right now, is because of a composer named Bernard Herrmann. I grew up in the era of sci-fi fantasy movies scored by Bernard Herrmann, and I think it was when I was around 11, 12 years old that I saw a movie called The Day the Earth Stood Still. And I remember for the first time in my life noticing the music aside from the movie, and the realization that it was adding something for me, something special. And so from then on, whenever I saw Bernard Herrmann's name in a movie, I knew there was something a little bit special that I was going to find. And his music was so eclectic and so unique and didn't sound like anybody else. He was the inspiration that turned me into something of a film music nerd, and I only became a composer because I was a nerd, because I was a film music fan. So I entered not via music school, I entered via fandom. I was like the equivalent of somebody who sits at all the basketball games ringside for years, who's finally tossed the ball and say, kind of get in there. But when Tim Burton tossed me that ball and said, hey, I think you should do this film score, had I not been a lifelong film music fan, I would have just tossed it right back to him. So I owe that to Bernard Herrmann.
When I compose the music for a picture, I go into the characters' psychology. So I go through them and I write the music. So obviously, you know, when you see the characters interacting and you hear the music, and if it's done properly, I think that you can really feel what's happening, even without dialogue.
You can focus on a character and stay with his emotions. You know, that can be happy, that can be dark, scary. So you really portray his emotions and his whole plot, you know, through a film. And with music, you can really emphasize that a lot.
I like to make my scores fresh and different by listening to a lot of stuff, see what's going on, like what's current out there, and then just really saying, okay, what's unique to this movie, what does this movie need, and bringing in different instrumentation or different things to make it authentic.
God, it's hard to say, but that is like that's the big one. That's what I'm up against all the time, trying to find what is that thing, what can I get my teeth into in this film that I could do something that is unique for this film, that's just for this one, that'll give it an identity that if you hear it, you'll go, oh, it's that movie. And I don't know the answer other than that's the big burning question as a composer all the time.
I had the great pleasure to meet Stan Lee actually during the recording session that we did here in Los Angeles. He came in and it was a great, of course, surprise for me and for all the crew and the whole orchestra that this guy was present while we were recording the music for the documentary that was for him.
Thank you. That was inspiring. It sounded like the Philharmonic. I love it. I just love it. I never expected it would be so good. Oh, man. You people are great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, no.
This is Dean. He's our conductor.
It was wonderful, really. I couldn't believe it.
Everyone's making the music. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, and you're all so young. God. I can't wait to go home and tell my wife and everybody I know how great this was. And I can't wait till the movie comes out, or whatever it's going to be. Anyway, thanks again. You are terrific. Thank you.
Well, Stan Lee, have you ever had the opportunity to be in a room with him? There is this effervescence, this pizzazz, this lust for life, this childish sparkle that just comes out of him, radiates out of him, which I find so addictive and so attractive and so compelling, and I think all of us creative people envy his ability at the age of 89 to maintain a relationship with the child inside of himself. Thank the Lord he was able to do that, because it was precisely that ability that was responsible for him endlessly putting out one great idea after the next. With hard work, he has become an American icon.